Okay, good morning everybody, and Hazak Baruch, thank you for joining us on this beautiful Tuesday morning as we are studying together Parashat Vayehi. Okay, Parashat Vayehi is the last parasha of the book of Bereshit. And Yaakov Avinu on his deathbed is giving all of his children berachot. He's blessing all of his children. And take a look at one of the blessings that he gives out to his son Yehuda. Okay, we know he begins, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, he gets to Yehuda. And take a look at the blessing that he gives to Yehuda. He says many things. But the final pasuk, chapter 49, pasuk 12. Hachlili einayim miyayin. What does that mean? What does that mean? Hachlili einayim miyayin. So Yaakov over here is praising that Yehuda is going to have an abundance of wine. His eyes, you ever saw someone drink wine and they get drunk? What happens? Their eyes become red. He says your eyes, you're going to have so much wine in your territory that you're going to be, your eyes are going to be bloodshot from the wine that you drink. Okay? Hachlili einayim miyayin. Ulben shinayim mehalav. And your teeth will be so white from the milk that will be produced in your region. You're going to have so much sheep with the pasture that you're going to have so much milk to drink. Your teeth will become white from milk. So on a simple level, Yaakov is blessing his son and he's telling him how beautiful he's going to have wine, he's going to have milk. And what exactly is Yaakov praising him over here? You know, don't worry, Yehuda, you're not going to need Colgate. You're going to have milk instead. Hazaku Baruch. Right? What exactly is this blessing? And I want to share with you a beautiful Gemara, Masechet Ketubot. And this is going to be today's class. And today we're going to talk about this powerful pasuk over here. Ulben shinayim mehalav. Everyone repeat after me those three words. Ulben shinayim mehalav. Your teeth are going to be whiter than milk. Okay? Again, this is not an advertisement for toothpaste. But says the Gemara, what Yaakov is saying over here is something very, very deep. Says the Gemara, Masechet Ketubot, Ulben shinai mehalav, al tikri leben. Don't read it, whitening the teeth, but rather, Leben shinayim, says the Gemara, that making someone's teeth white is more precious than halav. One of the greatest gifts that we could give anybody in our lifetime is simply making their teeth white, making them smile, making them happy, making the people around us in a good mood. And we have to remember that moods are contagious. So if we want the people around us to be happy, then we must be happy. Says Yaakov to his son Yehuda, the greatest lesson I learned in my life is how important it is. Leben shinayim. You give somebody money, it's nice. You give somebody a loan, it's beautiful. You give someone a job. But the greatest gift that you could give anybody in the world is leben shinayim, making them smile. You know, Avot de Rabbi Natan tells us that you could give someone a lot of money, you could give them a big gift, you could give tzedakah. But if you gave it with a sour face, if we gave it and we weren't smiling when we gave the tzedakah, if we did somebody a favor, but we didn't look like we were happy to do it, you host somebody in your house, and we're doing a mitzvah of achnasat orhim, but the whole time it's so obvious that we're nervous that the house is messy, and we're looking at our watch, what time are they going to leave, and we're just all the time anxious and nervous, and yeah, of course, yeah, sure, I love when guests come over, yeah, right? If you do a chesed, but we're not smiling when we do it, says Avot Rabbi Natan, we gave them nothing. On the other hand, if a person gives a person just a smile, you've given them everything. Smiling to people, Rabotai, it's free. It's free, and it's the biggest gift that we could give anyone. just smiling. Masechet Makot tells us, Az Yavdil Moshe Shalosh Arim. Take a look at this Gemara based on the Pasuk. The Pasuk says, Az Yavdil Moshe Shalosh Arim Be'ever HaYarden Mizraha Shemesh. Moshe, at the end of his life, we know that Moshe does not enter the land of Israel. And when he passes away, he does one last mitzvah. Anyone know what the last mitzvah that Moshe does? He separates the Are Miklat, the 3 refuge cities in the Transjordan. Okay, this is the last mitzvah that Moshe does. And what's very interesting is that Moshe actually does a mitzvah which is incomplete, because that we know that the 3 refuge cities that a murderer has to run to, if somebody kills by mistake, they run to an Ir Miklat. They have to run to a refuge city, and over there, they're safe. They cannot be avenged by the relatives of the deceased, and they have to stay there till the death of the Kohen Gadol. And Moshe Rabbeinu sets up the 3 in the Transjordan. Although those 3 would not be in effect until the 3 in Israel would be established as well. And Moshe Rabbeinu knew this. But Moshe was looking for ways as much as possible to do mitzvot. And this is the last mitzvah that he does. But the Pasuk says in Devarim that Moshe separates, Az Yavdil Moshe Shalosh Arim. He separates the 3 cities. Mizraha Shemesh, on the east of the sun. What an interesting way to say on the east, on the Transjordan. It could have written Me'ever HaYarden, which it does. Be'ever HaYarden. It writes in the Transjordan. I think it's enough if the Pasuk would have stopped over there. But the Pasuk continues and says, no. Mizrah HaShemesh. By the way, it's not only the Transjordan, it's the east of the sun. What do you got to tell me that it's to the east? I know it's to the east. You told me where it is. It's in the Transjordan. I know exactly where that is. Amar lo HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Moshe, but God says to Moshe, Hazrah Shemesh Larotzhim, you have shined the sun for the murderers. Moshe Rabbeinu at the end of his life focused on one thing and one thing only. Even a murderer, obviously he's not a murderer on purpose, they're shogeg, but at the end of the day they killed. It's not the friendliest guy. He did kill. Okay? And still Moshe is figuring out and thinking of ways. How can he give hope to people who are lost? How can he give one last smile to somebody who has maybe a frown on their face? And Moshe Rabbeinu, his whole life, we're introduced with the words Vayar besivlotam. The first moment we meet Moshe, what is his focus? He's again noticing the pain of those around him. Vayar, he sees the sivlotam, the pain of his brothers lifting the heavy burdens as their slaves to Paro. And he ends his life by separating 3 cities. His whole focus, and this is a person's main avodah in this world, is to figure out and make it their business. How can we put a smile on somebody's face? So whatever you woke up thinking that you're going to try to accomplish today, you have to realize that you need to scratch that, and our goal today has to be something new. Our goal today and every day should be, how can I put a smile on those around me? If I've done that, I am successful. And if I haven't done that, I could have done a million things. If I'm not making people's lives better, if I'm not making those around me happy, then I am failing in my mission in this world. All we want from God, by the way, is ha'er panecha. We say today we said it again and again in the tefillah, God, just please shine your face to us. In the Berchat Kohanim that we all listen to every single morning, we say, Ya'er Hashem panav elecha. May God shine His face towards you. That's what the Kohanim bless us. All we want is for God to smile on us. The most powerful thing we can give other people around us is a smile. Take a look at Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef was in jail. He had every reason to be sour, every reason to be bitter. And what does Yosef notice one day when he's in jail, lost, stolen, robbed from his father? His brothers sold him. He's now in a pit in Egypt. He doesn't think he'll ever get out. And what is Yosef thinking of all day long in the pit, in Mitzrayim? He's looking around at the people around him, making sure they are happy. And look what happens. He says to the butler, he says to the baker, Madua penechem ra'im. Why are you guys so down today? Let me try to cheer you up. Talk to me. Is something on your mind? And they tell him, listen, we had these dreams and we're not sure what they mean. And Yosef says, all right, let me try to help you out. And Yosef interprets the dreams. And by the way, I don't think we realize how important this nuance is. Yosef only leaves jail because he interprets the dream for Paro. He only interprets the dream for Paro because the butler put a good word. The butler put a good word because he got interpreted by Yosef on his own dream. Yosef interpreted the butler's dream only because Yosef asked, why are you down? If Yosef doesn't ask, he never interprets the butler's dream. He never interprets Paro's dream. He never goes out of jail. What a powerful, powerful message. How important it is for us to notice the people around us. Whatever we have going on in our day, whatever headaches we have. Yaakov Avinu, matter of fact, our rabbis tell us, Yaakov only lived till how much? Anyone know? Give it a couple of seconds. How old was Yaakov when he died? 47, very good. 147, right? Okay, 147. Our rabbis notice that is 33 years short of what he should have lived till. We know that Yitzchak lived till 180. Avraham was supposed to live till 180. He lived till only 175 because he died 5 years early so that he shouldn't see Esav, his grandson, go off to the derech, right? To go doing the horrible, evil things that he was doing. Yaakov only lived till 147, 33 years short. And our rabbis say, if you know why he lost 33 years of his life? Because last week when he meets Paro, very good, he complains to Paro. When Paro says to him, my gosh, how old are you? And what does Yaakov say? He says, listen, I'm old, but I'm not as old as you think. Really, my father, I just had a bitter life. Let me read you the exact words. Okay? He says, how old are you? I'm only 130. However, me'at veraim, few and bad have been the days of the years of my life. And they're nowhere near the quality of the years of my ancestors. And over here, Yaakov is complaining to Paro that he's had a hard life. And so he's basically saying, I look old because I had a lot of anxiety. I had a stressful life. And it's showing. Now, Rav Chaim Shmulevitz, he asks the obvious question, and I'm sure there are those out there that have tried this. But Yaakov loses 33 years because of his response. What's the connection with his response and the number 33? So, if you take a look, says the Gemara, Yaakov spoke 33 words, and for every word, he lost 1 year of his life for this complaint. Now, if you count, which I'm sure people have done, you'll find that there aren't 33 words. Okay? It's missing. Count the amount of words. There's no 33. Ask Rav Chaim Shmulevitz, so where are you getting 33 from? And he gives a very interesting answer. He says, no. We're also punishing him for the question. Vayomer Paro el Yaakov, kama yemeh sheneh chayecha. When you add those 7 words, then you have 33 altogether. And the question again is, why are we punishing Yaakov for Paro's question? You want to punish Yaakov for his attitude, for his complaining. So count how many words he said. Why punishing him for the question? And says Rav Chaim Shmulevitz, because the only reason Paro asked was because it showed on Yaakov's face. And therefore, even the question is Yaakov's fault. Unbelievable. The fact that Paro asked, why are you so old? Yaakov, why are you showing other people? Why are you giving off negative energy? You cannot, especially if you're on the caliber of Yaakov Avinu. In the words of Yisrael Salanter, your heart is private property, but your face is a reshut harabim. Your face is public property. What goes on in your heart is up to you. It's between you and God. But what happens up here, it's for the world to see. You cannot be in the street and throw a banana peel on the floor. You cannot just be clumsy and throw garbage. You cannot set up a stumbling block, right? It's public property. In your house, you could throw banana peels. You can do whatever you want. But when you're with people, you can't just intoxicate. You can't just pollute. Your face is public property. And what goes on here is not yours, but it's the world's. We must always be careful that this is radiating kindness, happiness, joy, positivity. Famous story, Rabbi Salanter is told, when it was right before Yom Kippur, the day before, he was walking in the streets and he noticed a fellow that he recognized. So he said, "Good morning." And the fellow responded back with a very weak, "Good morning, morning." And Rabbi Salanter says, whoa, what's with the attitude? Why are you not, reciprocating? And the fellow says, "Rabbi, what do you want from me? It's Yom Kippur tomorrow. I'm super nervous. We have Yom Hadin. I mean, after all, you've taught us how careful we have to be, and it's a serious day. And I'm nervous. I'm nervous, Rabbi. What do you expect?" And Rabbi Salanter responded to this student of his, "Because you're nervous, I have to suffer. Because you are afraid of Deen, it's my problem. I have to now see a sour, bitter, ugly face. You want to be nervous? Keep it between you and yourself. But what goes on up here belongs to the world." So a lot of times we have bad days, things are going on. But we have to remember, we can never allow that to disrupt other people around us. Rabbi Yehi Gordon, the story is told, when he was very ill and he was in the hospital, he was in tremendous pain towards the end of his life. But whenever his congregants, whenever his Talmidim, whenever his family would come to visit him, he would immediately make sure to sit up, and whatever pain he was feeling just minutes ago, he would wipe it all away, and he would put this big smile on his face so that he shouldn't cause pain and agony to his family and students, that they should see that he was in pain. So when they came, he made believe all was well, and he would put on a smile. He would say, Baruch Hashem, feeling much better today. Unbelievable. Always conscious and cognizant about the fact that my pain cannot become other people's pain. And of course, we all need a therapist. We all need to vent. We all need those times in our day that we have people that we vent to. But barring those exceptions, barring the cases that we need people that we talk to, everyone else, we must always try to be positive. If something going on in our personal lives is not other people's problem, to always smile when we see other people. Rosh Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, when his wife passed away, he was in the hospital. As he literally just seconds ago, he got the horrible news. He is there pacing the hallway, trying to internalize that he just lost his wife, his lifelong partner. And as he's pacing through the hallways of the hospital, back and forth, and he's just trying to comprehend this, all of a sudden his Talmid runs in with balloons, running down the hallway, and he bumps into his rabbi. He says, "Rabbi, I get a mazel tov. Baruch Hashem, my wife and I were just blessed with a baby." And Rosh Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, who just lost his wife, gives the kid the biggest smile, and he gives him the biggest hug. And he says, "Mazal tov, he should give you a lot of nachat, you should be zochet to raise him." He gives him a big bracha. "Thank you, Rabbi, I gotta run." And he runs off into the hole. And it was only the next morning, when all of the signs went out and the eulogy started, that the student realized that yesterday the reason the rabbi was in the hospital was because his own wife passed away. And yet the rabbi made sure not to utter a single word, not to give off even a clue or a hint to the student that he lost his wife. My problem shouldn't become your problem. If I'm going through something, I must keep it in here. But this is contagious. I must be always on the lookout of how to make other people's day. Halben shinai mehalav, to be able to put a smile on the face of those around me should be my number one priority. And the only thing I'm thinking of course, it's much easier when we're going through something that's great, when we're in a happy stage of life. But even if, God forbid, we're experiencing suffering, pain, tragedy, hardship, we must always try to figure out, our only concern should be making sure that we are radiating positivity. Rabbi Mattia ben Harash, Pirkei Avot, chapter 4, he tells us something very powerful. He tells us over here, Rabbi Mattia ben Harash Omer. Now, you may know this name, by the way, because Rabbi Mattia is the one who reminded us that we're allowed to mehalel Shabbat if somebody's life is in danger. And look how much primacy he gives to a person's life. And here he continues and he says, you know how important people are. Heve makdim b'shlom kol adam. Always make sure you are initiating hello to everybody around you. The only piece of advice that he thinks that he could give us. All of Pirkei Avot. He tells us this in the next sentence. The first thing he wants to tell us, Rabbi Mattia, Heve makdim b'shlom kol adam. Make it your homework. Make it your business. Put it on your checklist, to-do list, that you greet everybody with a hello first. Always try to be the first to say hello. We know that in Hebrew, when we say hello to somebody, we say Shalom Aleichem. Hello to you. We say to the angels, Shalom Aleichem. Right? Friday night. The first words we say to someone, Shalom Aleichem. But how does that person respond? Do we know? Anyone know how the person responds back? Let's say somebody tells you in Hebrew, Shalom Aleichem. What's the right way to respond? The right way to respond, very good. Aleichem Shalom. So, Salam Aleikon, Aleikon Salam. Hello, Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem Shalom. And it's very interesting that the second guy doesn't respond equally, Shalom Aleichem. But he has to flip it. Aleichem Shalom. Why? And now, actually, this is not just poetic. This actually has a reason behind it. The second guy should not say Shalom Aleichem back. He should say all the Aleichem Shalom, because we know that God has many names. Now he has serious names, but then he has other names that are kind of his names, but also share other meanings. One of the names of God is Shalom. So as an example, one cannot say in a bathroom, Shalom, hello, Shalom. Can't say that, right? That's God, one of God's names. Now it's very interesting because over here, turns out that a person that says Shalom, if the second guy says Shalom Aleichem, and after the first word of Shalom, God forbid, he starts coughing or he chokes or he drops dead. I know it's an extreme example. But if something happens after the word Shalom, it turns out that the second fellow only said God's name in vain. Now, I don't think that's on his mind. The guy just died, right? It's the last thing on his mind. But to prevent the second guy from just saying Hashem's name in vain, he doesn't respond with Shalom Aleichem, but rather he responds with Aleichem Shalom. Because once he says Shalom, he said the full sentence. Now, the obvious only question that we have left to figure out is, if we worry about the second guy, so what about the first guy? Why could he say Shalom Aleichem? And the Mefarshim explain something so powerful. And that is that this first guy who initiates the hello, he will not have to worry about something bad happening to him, because he has a zechut, he has the merit of initiating hello, which is itself such a big mitzvah that you are rest assured that he will finish his sentence. Holy cow. Unbelievable. So the first guy, you're in the clear. Don't worry about something happening between the Shalom and the Aleichem. Again, the point is, look how powerful, according to our rabbis, they're trying to emphasize again, we must take seriously to do whatever we can to always be the first one to greet somebody. Even babies, they know the difference. They were never taught. But you look at a baby and you smile. What does a baby do? Smiles. You give a baby a frown. You give a baby an angry face. It starts crying, right? Baby starts crying. The baby runs away from you. Who taught them that? It wasn't taught. It's just into it. It's natural. Naturally, we appreciate smiles. Everyone around us, we need to know, is hungry for a smile. You should know this. Everybody that you see today wants to be cheered up, wants to have a smile on their face. So we have to know, A, everyone is looking for a smile, and B, everyone has the power to give them that ability to smile. And all it takes is a very simple smile. Just think about the people that you like being around. Who are those people? What is it that they do that make us happy to be around them? Usually it's because they're always giving off positive vibes, positive energy. Okay, so every one of us has to try to figure out what we can do to give other people that feeling of comfort and happiness and warmth. You have sometimes, it's so sad, but sometimes you have a situation where two people are side by side for days, months, years, and not a word is said from one to the other. You could have sometimes two people in the same synagogue that never say hello to each other. You could have a rabbi and a congregant that don't really have a good relationship. You could have two friends in an office space that don't really get along. Two people in school. You could have a guy and a girl that are both dating and they both go to the same functions and synagogues and organizations and whatever. And they just never eat. They never say hello to each other. They don't ever develop that relationship that could end up being a marriage or a beautiful student, rabbi, or friend and friend. They don't ever get there. You know why? I'll tell you something about human nature. Okay? Think about the last time you saw somebody that you didn't approach. Very interesting thought. But each one is nervous to make the first move. Each one is thinking, you know, I would love to learn with the rabbi, but let the rabbi come and say hello. And then I'll start. And the rabbi's thinking, I would love to learn with this kid. Let the kid come and say hello. I don't want to impose. I don't want to push. I don't want to. So each one, you have a guy, you have a girl. They're both looking to get married. And they could be great for each other. And the guy's thinking, I don't know if she's interested. I want her to show some interest. And the girl's thinking, he's not coming over. He's not interested. And so each one is just, they assume the other one's not interested. And really, all they have to do is just walk over and introduce yourself. Just imagine somebody in your, again, I'm not saying you should be invasive, but so many relationships have potential, but they never amount to anything because the people are just shy in initiating a simple hello. Heve Magdim. You know, I just want to share with you personal episode. I give a beautiful class every Tuesday night. Thank God, it's a great class. Give it. There's food. There's learning. There's drinks. It's great. It's a great system. Every Tuesday night we have a beautiful, maybe 20 guys every single Tuesday night. Okay, and a few months ago, I was walking out of the synagogue to my house to give the class. That week it was in my house, and I see a guy who's pulling into the parking lot right in front of the shul. He's parking to run in to check if there's still mincha. So he says, Rabbi, is there mincha? I said, actually, I'm so sorry, we just finished. Okay, now simply person conversation ends off with, okay, tomorrow, see you tomorrow, 6:30. I don't know why I decided to say to this kid, I said, you know, Abe, actually, I'm not sure what you're doing now, but it's a long shot, but I'm giving a class in my house, and this kid was the farthest kid. He never learned. He never went to classes. I don't know, I thought, ask. You don't lose by asking, right? So I said to the kid, listen, Abe, just FYI, I'm giving a class in my house. There's some dinner, have some drinks. There's a bunch of guys. Maybe you want to come and join us. I thought, honestly, telling you the truth, I thought 100% he's saying no. He's going to give me one of those, fake like, Beli Neder, next time, I have to be somewhere, but it'll get me next week, right? And usually that's what I get, okay? A lot of times, you say to somebody, come and learn, and usually the response is, till they get acclimated and they start coming. In the beginning, it's a very slow process. No, next time, I have something else, Okay. Anyways, I thought I asked this kid, what do you do? Anyway, I asked the kid. He said, all right, what's your address? I'm like, what? What'd you say? He said, what's your address? I said, my address where the class is. Yeah, okay. I gave the kid my address. I walked home. 10 minutes later, he shows up. He started coming to the class. In my wildest dreams, I never thought the kid was going to come. He started coming. Not only did he come that week, he came the next week. He's the most consistent guy. Most consistent guy. He sponsors the most of everybody, the dinners and the drinks. He's there every single week. I mean, and all from what? All from what? Imagine the rabbi's attitude was, listen, I don't want to impose people to come learn. Let me wait for him to show that he's interested in me. Maybe we don't click. If he gives me any opening, then maybe I could suggest that he come learn. You never know. You never know. People are in general friendly. People are looking to develop relationships. You'll be shocked. The people that you maybe walk by every single day, that in our minds, they're cold, they're not so friendly. Maybe they're thinking the same exact thing about us, by the way. Maybe if you ask them, what do you think of Ariel? They're like, oh, he's a little bit cold. He never said hello. And really, I would love if they came. If only we could sometimes have, like, X-ray vision and look into what people are thinking. I think we'd be shocked and we'll realize that there are so many people around us that would love to be friends with us, that would love to be in a relationship with us, because they're in general friendly people. People are friendly. And each one is just waiting for the other one to initiate. And all it takes is just sometimes a little bit of courage, just walking over. Shalom, hey, how are you? I know many times people come to me 2 years later. I haven't seen them since pre-corona. I saw them BCE, right? You saw them before corona. And all of a sudden, guy comes to shul 2 years later. I vaguely remember what he looks like. I know the face. For sure don't know his name. He says, Rabbi, I just want you to know, 2 years ago when I came, you said hello and you welcomed me. And I'd never forget till today, this shul is so welcoming. What did I do? I said to the guy, good morning, welcome, nice to have you here. 5 words. What did I say to the guy? But people appreciate it. People appreciate feeling part of something, being welcomed. Leben shinaim mechalav. Better to give the guy a smile than to give him even milk. And Yehuda is specifically the one. Good question. Why specifically Yehuda? Great question. And maybe one of the reasons is because Yaakov Avinu is not only saying this in general as just advice, make somebody's day, put a smile on someone's face. Yaakov is actually saying this, and as he's saying it, he's thinking in the back of his mind of his son Yosef. His son Yosef is literally a case in point. Yosef was sold. Yosef was alone in Egypt. But what kept Yosef going? Yosef, what kept him going was the fact that he remembered that his father loved him. Yosef was able to stay alive physically and spiritually because he had his father's image in his face. He didn't sin with Potiphar's wife because of his father's image. His father gave him that warmth, that love, that connection, and that stayed with him forever. And so what Yaakov is telling Yehuda is maybe a tacit rebuke. And he's telling him, you're the one that sold Yosef. And look what a powerful smile can do. I was able to, we saved this kid. Just from a little bit of, just making someone feel welcome. Doing, like we saw last week, Egla Arufa. Just escorting him an extra 2 steps. When you finish a conversation with somebody, when you're talking to somebody, give them your eyes, your nose, give them your undivided attention. A lot of times we're talking to people and we're looking, I just landed last week. Sorry, what was that? Right? How do you think you make people feel when you talk to them like that? People don't feel good. So we have to make it as much as we can that whatever we're doing everything that we can to give the people around us a feeling of welcomed, feeling happy, making them smile. And again, moods are contagious. Write this down. Moods are contagious. If you are happy, people around you will be happy. If you're not happy, then maybe the people around you won't be so happy. Okay, so we got to do whatever we can to try to give the people around us happy, make them smile. Okay, make everyone that comes in contact with you want to walk away and say, you know what? I like being next to that guy. I like being next to that girl. They make me feel good. When I'm with them, LG, life's good. When I'm with them, everything, all my problems that I'm feeling, doesn't matter what I'm going through. Even, you know what? You think about the experience that we have when we go to a hotel. You could pay a lot of money for a hotel. They could have top quality mattresses. They could have the best food. They could have the best views. They could have, it's the most modern, state-of-the-art, everything. But let me tell you something. If the staff at a hotel is rude, if they're not welcoming, it's worth zero. No, am I wrong? You go to a restaurant, the food could be the best. But if the waiters are rude, if the manager, if they're not friendly, if they're impatient, everything that's great is worth zero. And it's the opposite as well. So much of an experience is the energy, is the mood. You go to a restaurant that's maybe not the best food, but everyone's super friendly, super kind. You go to a hotel, it's okay, but the service is excellent. The ambiance, everything, the energy, it's so much important part of the experiences that we have in our lives. It's true with hotels, it's true with restaurants, it's true with people. So we have to, again, figure out, our rabbis say, again, in Pirkei Avot, this time chapter 1, Heve mekabel et kol ha'adam besever panim yafot. Whoever you see, receive them with a smile. Everyone you see. And by the way, it doesn't say your best friend. It doesn't say your mom or your dad or your sister or your teta or your boss. It says everybody. Everybody that you see, give them a smile. Yaakov Avinu was punished 33 years because his face gave off a little bit of a negative vibe, negative energy, and Paro was able to sense it. And so Paro says to Yaakov, how old are you, man? You look old. Your face is giving off old impressions. And for even the question, Yaakov Avinu was punished. We must receive everybody. Besever panim yafot. Even if you don't like them. You have reason to not like them. Doesn't matter. Sever, what does savor mean in Hebrew? Savor means to think. Even if they just think that you like them, make them think it. Of course, I'm not saying that we should mislead them and lie to them and give them the impression that we're their best friend so that they give us all their secrets and then we backstab them. Chas v'shalom. Okay? But mekabel everybody with sever panim yafot. And you may say, Rabbi, how am I supposed to do that? It's dishonest. I don't like the guy. They have bad qualities. It's being two-faced. And the answer is in the Mishnah. Heve mekabel et kol ha'adam. Accept the entire person. The reason you don't like them is because you're narrowing and you're zoning in on one specific detail. But if you look at the whole person, you'll find that maybe over here they have bad qualities, but in that area they're amazing. Okay, a person could come home and they could see their spouse, they didn't do this, they have still been lax in that. You ask them one thing and they still didn't do it 2 weeks later, and you could be angry. Or a person could remember and remind themselves and focus on the 5 things that their spouse does do. So instead of looking and focusing on the negative, focus on the whole person. And when a person does that, it'll be very easy to say, you know what? Yes, there are flaws, but I also have flaws. This person maybe has flaws, but let me focus on their virtues. Just like our own children. Our children, I'm sure, aren't perfect. No one is. Imagine you were to see a parent that would tell you about your own child. Your child, they're this, they're that. You know what they did. They have a fresh mouth. And, right, what would we say back? You don't know my child. They're angels. They do chesed. You know how they treat their brother. You know what, right? So we're always looking for the good in our children. Look at the good in everybody that we see. Always initiating hello. Always making it part of our homework daily to think about everyone I'm about to meet. Ariel, you gotta just give off positivity. You guys gotta give off good energy. That should be my focus. Initiate hellos. Smile at people. Always in a good mood. Ask them why they're down. Begin a conversation. You never know what kind of relationship this could lead to. Famous story of the rabbi in Argentina. That he was the main rabbi, I believe, in the slaughterhouse. And one day, the security who was locking up, he does the rounds, and as he's walking out, he's about to lock up the doors. But the guard tells him, you can't lock it up yet, there's still somebody inside. And the manager says, no, I already checked, I did the check, there's nobody left, we could lock it up for tonight. And he says, no, there's somebody still in there. He said, what do you mean? I checked, how do you know there's somebody still in there? He says, there's got to be somebody still in there. And the security guard, they go together and they check the whole premise, and they find in the freezer, in the fridge where they kept the meats, they found locked in, they found the rabbi, the mashgiach, freezing, and if they would have left him in there overnight, he would have been dead. They took him out, they warmed him up, and the manager asks the security guard, how did you know that the rabbi was still here? And the security guard said, you should know that hundreds of people work in this facility every single day, and hundreds of people walk right by me, but only one tells me good morning and good night. This rabbi. Today, I heard a good morning. I didn't get a good night. I knew he must still be in there. This one simple good morning saved this person's life. At Rav Moshe Feinstein's funeral, the nuns were crying. They said to them, why are you sad? And they said, this man was a great man. And they're like shocked. What do you mean? How do you know that he was a great man? And they said every single morning on his way to the synagogue, when he walked by, he would always say good morning to us. Nuns! He would say good morning. Our rabbis understood how important it is. Makdim shalom lechol adam. Doesn't say Jews. Say hello to everybody. Make everybody happy. Make everybody feel good. We have to give over positive mood, great energy. Today is the fast of Asara B'Tevet, and we will be very wise if we would be able to maybe begin by incorporating these lessons, and they would definitely be the first step in bringing the Mashiach back, which we know was destroyed because of Sinat Chinam. So maybe today for a few minutes we have to ask ourselves, what can we do to make those around us happier? Remember that to the world, we could be one person, but to one person, we could be the world. Okay, we'll stop over here, everybody. We should be zocheh to an amazing, meaningful fast. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.